It's a Ducati on the front row of the grid. It's not Loris Capirossi. It's Sete Gibernau. Gibernau's last pole position at Valencia, the final Grand Prix of the season last year. Of course, then he was riding the Honda. Perfect timing by the Spaniard. Made him a big, big hero here at Mugello, as you can imagine.
And a huge roar just then, Nick, as Valentino Rossi took his helmet off, and he's on the outside of the front row, so he's closest to the grandstand, waved at the crowd, and they just went absolutely ballistic. If he is not the most favourite person in this crowd, I don't know who is.
That is the main start and finish straight. You can just see how long it is up over the rise, under that bridge, before you brake for the right-hander. Sete Gibernau looked very relaxed back in the pit lane garage. Slightly tenser now, as you can imagine. It's a big race for him because he's not found it easy, the switch to Ducati and the switch to Bridgestone tyres. But Sete Gibernau, don't forget, was the man that challenged Valentino Rossi for the World Championship for 2 successive seasons. You just don't lose that in one go. And I think he showed yesterday how quick he was.
I'll jump in while the camera's on Sete Gibernau with Nicky Hayden. Nicky, not the position anybody wants to be in, but the morning warm-up must have been good for you being fastest.
Yeah, it felt good this morning to be fastest. I mean, we didn't make a lot of changes, just, it's race day, so we're trying to bring in, and, I'm pretty happy with the setup. I know it's going to be hard work here today, the Italians. Everybody's out for blood here in their backyard, but we hoping for a fun race and be right in the middle of it and, go for it. We're going to fight today.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of hope that you're not in the middle of it, but you're leading it all.
Yeah, no, a W would be nice today, so that's the target.
All right, all the best.
Thank you.
Nicky Hayden leading the World Championship. Fritz Strobel, the World Downhill Ski Champion, looking on. World Downhill and MotoGP, both things that you don't take part in unless you're very brave men indeed. He's a brave man. Loris Capirossi, tough little street fighter, isn't he? Former 125 and 250cc World Champion, heading the Ducati Challenge in MotoGP. He won here in 2000, I remember, riding for Zito Ponzi's Honda team. Involved in that hectic battle with Valentino Rossi, Max Biaggi and Marco Melandri last year, eventually finishing in 3rd place. Won that opening Grand Prix of the season at Jerez in Spain. Really bounced back to form in Le Mans 2 weeks ago when he finished in 2nd place and still in with a great chance of the championship. And right up to the start of the race, still having a laugh and a joke, but a very, very dedicated competitor, as is this man. He jokes, he draws your cartoons, we've been through everything that's on his bike today, all about his helmet, but when it really matters, he is one of the most professional sportsmen in the world today. And he knows, as we know, this is a race he has to win. Valentino Rossi, the winner of the race here for the last 4 years on Honda and Yamaha. If he makes it 5, he would blow the championship wide open.
Nick, I've just got Loris Capirossi with me. Loris, good to see you back on the front row of the grid, and what a place to do it in your home Grand Prix.
Yeah, well, we working so well during the practice. We are good setting the bike and tire working good there. We will see. We try to do our best, and our target is to finish in the top 3. But I don't know if it's possible. But this is we do like to do that,
Well, you did some pretty consistent laps in qualifying yesterday, and not bad in warm-up this morning. So that must be good for your confidence.
Yeah, well, my rhythm is quite good, And I try to do my best in the race, and I hope to do the lap consistent like this morning or yesterday.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck to Loris Capirossi. Nicky Hayden, we've already spoken to. Ciao. He's learned his Italian word, and now he's going to tell us about it every time we see him. Well, as you can probably hear, my voice is enjoying the Italian sunshine. Sitting alongside me, the man that was in pit lane for many years helping us out. He's progressed from then. He's not down in the wet and cold now. Gavin Emmett. Gavin, you come here to help the old man, haven't you?
Well, I'm just a bit jealous at the moment of Mark Brax down there in pit lane, because it's a fantastic atmosphere. I've been down in Parc Fermé early on for a couple of the races, and the place is buzzing. It's absolutely full. You can see all the Ducatisti up in the stands and all the Italian fans around here. A real special occasion, and any Grand Prix fan who wants to come to a Grand Prix, make your way to Mugello. There is no better place to see Grand Prix racing.
No, I think we all agree with that. You agree with that, Mark, don't you? Your first ever appearance as we have a look at Shinya Nakano.
I just love it down here. I've got butterflies in my stomach, and I've got John Hopkins. I've got butterflies, John, but this is one of the most exciting GPs you'd have to attend.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the crowd The crowd, everything just goes off. Everything's pretty wild. So, you know, you just want to perform the best for them. And, you know, it really pumps you up as a rider, you know, to perform in such a beautiful place with such so many people, really.
Well, so many people, it's a wonder you can concentrate with your grid girl standing beside you in those Rizla cigarette papers.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about getting a water gun out and then doing some spraying, but
All right, all the best, Mark.
thanks.
Well, he's better than you, Mark. You just hoped it was going to rain, didn't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's amazing down here. I said this morning it looked like a model parade. I think it's gone from a model parade to a Miss World competition, and the bike race broke out.
Well, there we are. The grid assembles. All that will be long forgotten, I can assure you, when the lights go from red to green to nothing to start the race off. And it's such an important race for the championship. Important race for Marco Melandri. The man in form, the only man to win 2 Grand Prix this season. And a man, I'd say, Gavin, that has come into form when perhaps his winter form wasn't as good as we might have expected after last year.
Yeah, when he was in winter testing, so many problems they had, so many the team and Tony Elias as well was outdoing him in those winter tests as well. But he's come in, he's got a couple of wins, and if he wins here again, he'd be leading the championship going away from Italy, and that'd be a massive boost to him. As Marco Melandri has their own corner now in MotoGP. I think that used to be Max Biaggi's corner up there. I remember Valentino Rossi saying how much he enjoyed passing Max Biaggi through one of those corners. I'm sure he'd feel the same about Marco Melandri here in Mugello as well.
I've just got one of the other Americans with me, Kenny Roberts. Kenny, this bike you've got now, the KR211, is getting better and better at each outing, and this morning's warm-up was another good inspiration for you.
Well, I think this is the starting point of the new chassis and the new package that we've identified more or less in China, and this is just the first time we've been able to get to the circuit. So from here, this is kind of our first race.
Well, being a test rider and being a GP rider must be hard as well.
Yeah, I'm everything. I'm multitasking at the moment.
All right, all the best.
Okay.
That was Kenny Roberts.
Yeah, Kenny Roberts, his dad, always good at multitasking, weren't they? Never a problem for them doing everything they have to do.
Inside and outside the circuit, you know, always doing everything. John Hopkins lining up, he's been in some fine form. He's been showing it early on in the race. Expect him to make a superb launch on that Suzuki at the start. There's a long way to the first corner. It's a very, very long straight, over a kilometre, and I expect Hopkins to really be up there and fire it into that first corner.
Danny Pedrosa, probably not the best qualifying, well, definitely not. He's the man that's been in pole position for the last 2 races, but it's going to happen, isn't it? You can't be up there all the time. Conditions during practice, not so much in qualifying, were wet and dry and damp and cold. So Pedrosa is qualified on the 3rd row of the grid. He's 8th fastest, and well, I think the fact that Casey Stone is probably alongside him just says that it's been a very, very difficult weekend, especially for the newcomers.
I think so on this MotoGP bikes. Danny Pedrosa said earlier on this week, to ride well at Mugello, you have to have a perfect setup and you have to get a perfect lap every single lap to be in there with a shout. And it just shows that experience has paid off. We've got Sete Gibnau, Loris Capirossi and Valentino Rossi on that front row there. Fantastic view from the helicopter looking down on the grid. All the different colours, all the people making up that grid. And just a few minutes to go now. 3 minutes, 5 minutes to the start of the race, and the 3-minute ball goes out for the riders on the grid.
Well, Mark, yeah, we just better get a little weather forecast, because you did say there was a bit of a shower on the 250s, which was a surprise, wasn't it?
Yeah, and now this wind has just sprung up from anywhere. I don't know if it's the helicopter above us that's putting a bit of downforce down here, but there is a bit of a breeze starting to blow as the riders are getting their helmets on. Trying to get an update on what everybody's using for tyres at the moment, but the track temperature at the moment dropped down to just over 30 degrees, so that's a pretty severe drop considering at the 250 start it was up around 34, 35 degrees.
At least they actually did practice in those kind of conditions though. If it had been a lot hotter, of course they'd have done the 4 practices. It's been mixed conditions all weekend. Casey Stoner, I'm sure, will be happier that it's not boiling hot, that the track isn't up to the 40 and 50 degrees we've seen here in the past.
No, I think you're right. And we just saw there a little sticker for the Michelin president, Eduard Michelin, and the man who, of course, so sadly died in a boating accident last week. And there was a 1-minute silence for him. And Umberto Massetti, the 2 times World 500cc champion, way back riding the Gilera, 1950. And so a sad day, certainly for everybody connected with Michelin, that their president, I think he was 42 years old, dying in a boating accident. And there was a very moving 1-minute silence. And attended by all the riders and all the members of the MotoGP family.
And Mazzetti as well was riding even to a late age. I remember a couple of years ago at a Gilera conference in Terni in Italy. I was down there lucky enough, and Mazzetti himself was riding one of the old bikes from the 50s, his old helmet on with Mickey Mouse on the top of it. Fantastic, and a very sad day, and lots of sad feelings amongst the Italian journalists and the Italian fans, of course, for one of their great legends.
Just got a glimpse there of Makoto Tomato, who really seems now to be getting to grips with probably the Michelin tyres as much as anything else.
Are you ready, please?
Well, the moment we've been waiting for, probably all season to be perfectly honest with you, 23 laps of this magnificent Mugello circuit. It's round 6 of the championship. Not a bad front row. Gibernau, Caparossi, Rossi. I think that would do very nicely indeed.
Watch out for the starters, though, from the second row. It's Nicky Hayden heading them off. Shinya Nakano in second place, and Marco Melandri, he's going to have a good race here in Italy, I'm sure.
Third row, John Hopkins, Danny Pedrosa, Casey Stoner. Oh, that's pretty tasty as well.
Makoto Tomato loves Mugello. He's in 10th position on the head of the fourth row. Alongside him, Kenny Roberts Jr. and Tony Elias.
Row 5, Carlos Checker, out qualifying Colin Edwards. Christian Newland still increasing that Grand Prix education on the Suzuki.
And on row 6, Randy Depunier, James Ellison and Alex Hoffman, with Jose Luis Cardoso just behind them on row 7.
And it's marvellous sound down here as these bikes roar into life and get ready for this magnificent race.
They're about to go on their final sighting lap. When they return, it will be 23 laps of the Mugello circuit, high in the Tuscan hills above the beautiful city of Florence. It's such a special place. It's such a special event. And you just know, Gavin, these riders are not going to let us down, don't you?
It should be. So many people around the paddock this weekend have been saying this should be even better than the race we saw in Turkey, even better than some of the races we've seen so far this season, because this is Italy. You know, you're guaranteed that Rossi, Capirossi, Melandri are all going to be there, but the likes of Hayden's been flying Gibernau this weekend on board the Ducati as well. He's going to be in there as well. It just lends itself to such fantastic racing. Those S's just seem to group the riders up. We saw last year the 4 Italians at the front, and I won't bet against seeing the 3 Italians, but someone like Hayden, the likes of Pedrosa in there, and Gibernau probably too.
Yeah, John Hopkins, as you think rightly say as well, will be the man that will make a very good start from the pole position on the 3rd row of the grid rather than the 1st row of the grid. Mark, attendance 89,000 as you said. The stage is set. Come on, who's your money on?
Well, the head says Rossi because he's on the front row of the grid for the first time. But I think, well, I'd like to see Hayden get up there and get breakthrough for his second win in the class.
There we go. I tell you, some of the Italian journalists really fancy Loris Capirossi to win this race. I think Gavin does.
Yeah, just because of the heart. As you said, Mark, you do need a lot of heart to go well around here. We're going to see, just looking from the commentary box, you can see the Ducatisti in the Ducati stand at the Corontaio bend, and they're all there just about to display. You can see they've just brought out the Ducati symbol on their boards on top. You can see from the helicopter looking down onto the circuit, and Loris Capirossi, we know how much he gives. He gives 120% throughout the whole race, and we know he's going to be there. The Bridgestone tyres have looked good all the way through practice, and if they hang out to the end of the race, a head-to-head between himself and Rossi is something I won't write off at all. As well, the launch of the Ducati from this straight on the starting grid should be fantastic to see.
With Marco Melandri, we haven't mentioned him in either of all 3 of us, but he's the man in form. He's the only man to win 2 Grand Prix this season. He hasn't got the greatest record here at Mugello. He's won a 250cc race, but I think he caught us by surprise both times he won one in Turkey and in Le Mans last week, so don't rule him out from the 2nd row of the grid.
Danny Pedrosa's another one. He has been in fine form. Again, he seems to come better as the weekend goes on, and that's how it's been in recent weeks. Obviously, he's taken pole position in the last couple of races, but I wouldn't count him out. Danny Pedrosa is a shrewd rider, and you could see him come through in the later stages of the race, as the Hondas have performed well in those latter stages. 23
laps of the magnificent Mugello circuit, round 6 of the MotoGP World Championships. The man in pole position, Sete Gibernau on the booming Ducati. Alongside him, Loris Capirossi, and then the world champion, chasing his 5th successive victory here at Mugello.
Away from the line is Sete Gibernau gets away well. Rossi's going to follow him down into the start. It looks like Gimeno. I'm sure Capirossi on the brakes though will be tight. It's Gimeno who's going to take the whole shot. And look at Stoner up on the inside as well. Stoner goes up into 3rd or 4th position.
Great start by Casey Stoner. I watched him on the way through from the 3rd row of the grid. So let's sort it out. Gimeno leads, Rossi 2nd, Shinya Nakano in 3rd place. He's also made a good start from the 2nd row of the grid. Good start also by Casey Stoner. Just look at those Rossi fans. They want their man out in front. He wants to take the lead. He has taken the lead.
Valentino Rossi leads in front of his fans at the Mugello circuit. They stream through as they now go down through Casanova and Savelli. This is where the Max Biaggi fans used to sit. They're not there anymore. It's the Marco Melandri fans, and Rossi is leading there. He's leading the Italian Grand Prix as they dip down into Arrabbiata.
And he's trying to break them up right from the very start, isn't he? Valentino Rossi's got in the lead. He knows what he wants to do. He wants to rub their noses in it now. Are there men out there capable of staying with him? Sete Gimeno, Shinya Nakano, Marco Melandri, Casey Stoner, Danny Pedrosa, and Loris Capirossi not making the best of starts from the front row.
Yeah, you can see Rossi really is trying to pull away from them now, but Gimeno sticking with him at the moment. Maybe Nakano as well. He's holding up Melandri in 3rd position. But it's Rossi leading the way as they come back round for Vicini.
And it's obvious, isn't it, that Melandri is worried already that he's going to get held up and Rossi's going to get away at the front. He's all over the rear wheel of Shinya Nakano, who's gone up the inside, and he's gone through up into 3rd place. Melandri sees the danger. We see the danger. 89,227 Italians see the danger. Rossi leads the way at the end of lap 1.
As they come down the straight, they reach over 320 kilometres now, over 200 miles an hour down the end of the Mugello straight. Melandri's got to pick the 3rd, and Stoner's looking to get through on the inside of Shinya Nakano. Nakano tries to take a tight line, but Stoner's going to go through. Stoner into 4th. Can he hold on to the position? Nakano gets through on the inside. I'm sure Stoner will hang on to it though.
Stoner does, but Nicky Hayden not making the best of the starts down in 7th place. In fact, in front of him, Danny Pedrosa, who started behind him, is in 6th place. Really now, can Sete Gimeno hang in there with Valentino Rossi? Because Rossi will try and break him right from word go.
I'm just looking at Loris Capirossi, and he's been gapped already by Hayden, so worries for Capirossi on the 1st lap, as well for Colin Edwards, who's run off the track. Colin Edwards now just streaming around. He was in 13th position after the end of the 1st lap, but I'm not sure. We can't quite see him on the timing sheets at the moment. Bad news for Colin Edwards, who's using actually the 2005 chassis, the new reformed version of the 2005 chassis in this race.
And he only stepped on it this morning too, Gav, after sticking with the 06 model through all the practice and qualifying sessions because of the weather conditions, and took the gamble to jump on it and maybe just overcooked it going into one of the corners. As look at Gimeno is back in front.
And was it Rossi's rear wheel that got into the dirt? Whoa, it's war out there. These two don't send each other's Christmas cards, you know.
You can see already Rossi's pushing it, isn't he? Pushing it, running it wide onto the gravel there, into the runoff. There you can see, here's a repeat of it. There's Rossi, goes onto the grass, not that much actually.
No.
That's probably a pretty fair line, and Gimeno's just done well to get through, and he holds a tight line as they go into Vicini, as they come to the end of the 2nd lap.
I tell you what, Sete Gimeno's won some battles with Rossi in the past. If he won this race, this would be, I think, the greatest moment of his life. Just remember Qatar. Valentino Rossi said in 2004, Sete Gimeno would never win another Grand Prix race. Well, Sete Gimeno is really, really having a go at the moment.
Danny Pedrosa going up around Shinya Nakano, but Nakano's got a tight line.
Pedrosa just runs it a little bit wide, and Nicky Hayden comes through, but then Pedrosa fights back. That won't do them either of them any good at all, to be really honest, with tyres and what have you. They're trying to get past Shinya Nakano. Like Marco Melandri, they realise that they've got to get up the front, as there's going to be problems for Gimeno and Rossi are setting a fair old pace at the front. But full marks to Sete Gimeno. He really is making a fist of this. Still a long way to go. 20 and a half laps. The voice is already given out. I'm getting excited. Mark Brax has got tummies in his wommies, whatever it is.
No, he can't get a word in edgeways with you guys up there at the moment, but just the statistics of the on the straight then, all around just over 200 miles an hour, 320 kilometres an hour. And an interesting stat that Suzuki gave me, they stay on top gear for 450 metres and then brake for 316 metres, and just a force of change of direction and change of pace, they pull over 2 Gs as they try and pull it up for turn 1.
It's
clear that Shinya Nakano's really holding up at the moment. Nicky Hayden, who's just behind him. Danny Pedrosa in there as well. Loris Capirossi too. And Nakano's letting the front four get away. Gibernau, Rossi, Melandri and Stoner are that front four. And at the moment, Hayden, you can just see him all over the back of Shinya Nakano. Shinya Nakano trying to get past, but there's no way through. The Kawasaki rider is riding some very tight lines indeed. It's Hayden going to have a look up the inside as they go into the straight for the third time. Hayden up into 5th position, and now he's going to have to chase down the front four.
Yeah, it was needed, wasn't it? And we haven't really mentioned, to be honest with you, Casey Stoner has ridden quite brilliantly in 4th place, made a very good start, and he's right up there with him. Nicky Hayden through Danny Pedrosa, now trying to get past Nakano. He has been holding them up. Pedrosa has gone through. Yes, he has.
And Marco Melandri up into 2nd place. Marco Melandri with the fastest lap of the race so far on lap 3, up into 2nd place, past Valentino Rossi. This is turning into a cracker already.
I'll just interrupt there, Gab. I've got Lucio Ciccanello with me, Casey Stoner's team manager. Fantastic start from Casey from way back on the grid.
Yeah, in fact, we decided to put a little bit the other tire on the race. We didn't have information, so we took a little risk, but seems that Casey liked it.
Good on you. Well, that's summed it all up. The tyre choice that came into it, and this race is just really hotting up now, isn't it, guys?
Well, sometimes you go to events, don't you, and you say it's all going to be so exciting and everything else. Sometimes it's not. This is an absolute cracker. Gibernau riding so well. Melandri, I think, probably catching Rossi a little bit by surprise. Rossi fights back, though, up the inside. He's going to get past Melandri. No, he's not. Melandri will not let him through. Casey Stoner's just sitting there saying, well, come on, you lads at the front. I'm quite happy. I'm right in there with you, and I'll just bide my time. The only problem is the likes of Danny Pedrosa and, of course, Nicky Hayden are catching up to make it a 6-some rather than a 4-some.
Yeah, they are closing that gap. You can see it on the screen now that, yeah, Hayden and Pedrosa closing the gap to Casey Stoner, but I think he's doing the right thing, just sticking in there, just staying in behind these front 3. Nothing silly at the moment. It's an early part of the race, 20 laps to go at the moment, and well, I fancy that we're going to have a real cracker on for the rest of this race now, because with Hayden and Pedrosa getting in there as well, it really is going to be a battle to the end. They come down the straight for the 4th time. Sete Gibernau leading. Look at the power of the Ducati on that. Look at the gap he's opened up over Melandri.
Here comes Casey Stoner. Stoner up the inside of Valentino Rossi, and Rossi goes up the inside of Marco Melandri. Rossi up into 2nd place, Melandri relegated to 3rd. It was almost Stoner that instigated that move, and he really shook Melandri into action.
And you saw Rossi running a bit wide, then come swinging across the front of Melandri to balk him again. But Gibernau with the fastest lap of that, or fastest lap down of 50.751, so they're getting down into those 49 brackets that we saw in qualifying.
I have to say, Valentino Rossi was a little hard on the brakes then at the end of the straight, really, wasn't he?
Hey, you're copying my expressions here.
Gibernau still leading. We're on board with Gibernau. Looking back at Rossi. Rossi's dived up the inside. As we've said a few times already, that was where he likes Bastianchi. He's gone past his other nemesis, Sete Gibernau, but Gibernau's not taking it. Lying down, Gibernau goes straight back into the lead at Arrabbiata. And Gibernau leads once more, but it's tight there. Rossi had the lead momentarily.
Sete Gibernau is riding an absolutely fantastic race, as I say, and of course Valentino Rossi goes back into the lead, but he's not going to be the breaking them up, Valentino Rossi. This is going to go all the way. And just to add to the fun, the 2 Repsolons are joining as well now. So that really is going to be Pedrosa and Hayden. So now it's 6 riders. It's Rossi leading the way, Gibernau 2nd, Melandri 3rd, in 4th place Casey Stoner, in 5th place is Danny Pedrosa, and in 6th place Nicky Hayden. But if you blink, it changes.
Danny Pedrosa set the fastest lap of the race so far on that last lap. We're just having a look again at that manoeuvre from Valentino Rossi through Cervelli, and as they go into Arrabbiata on board with Rossi, look at that. Just later on the brakes, he lays it in a bit tighter, but forced to run a little bit wide. That's where Sete gets it back. Down the straight, Valentino Rossi leading the way now from Sete Gibernau. Marco Melandri on the inside of Casey Stoner, sticks in 3rd position, Stoner in 4th place, Pedrosa is in 5th, Nicky Hayden in 6th place. There the speeds. Top speed there, Danny Pedrosa, 327 kilometres an hour.
18 laps to go. Michael Schumacher surely must be enjoying this race. This is MotoGP at its very, very best. Sete Gibernau is on fire in 2nd place. I just know he'd like to beat Valentino Rossi here. in Mugello on a Ducati more than any other Christmas present he could ever receive in the world.
For those Ducati fans, just to let them know that Loris Capirossi has gone past Yuki Nakano. He's a second now behind Nicky Hayden in 6th place. They can see him at the top of the screens. There's Danny Pedrosa up into 5th. Currently the fastest lap of the race on lap 5. Marco Melandri and Stoner, they're having a nice little battle for 3rd place at the moment. There's the battle for 1st between Rossi and Gibernau, the battle for 3rd between Melandri and Stoner, and that battle for 5th between Pedrosa and Hayden. But between all the front 6, just a second separating all of them, so nothing to pick between them.
Jimmy Nakano in 8th place, Kenny Roberts Jr. 9, Tony Elias 10, Kamada 11, Hopkins is disappointing 12, Carlos Checa 13th, 14th Tapani and Tapini 15th Chris Mulin, James Ellison's in 16th, Hoffman 17th, Edwards in 18th place. We saw him run off the track on the Yamaha and completed the field on the moment Cardoso.
Colin Edwards times 151.3 and Hoffman just in front of him 153.1. So he's closing the gap now. He's in 18th place. I'm sure we're going to see Edwards move up the order during this race, but for all those Texas Tornado fans, he's down in 18th place as Gibernau in the slipstream of Valentino Rossi. Now we'll see who's going to be on the brakes at the end of the straight. Well, I thought maybe Gibernau would come out of the slipstream there. Gibernau with the fastest lap of the race so far. I'm sure that was just from the draft, of course, from Rossi's bike, but Rossi still leads at the end of lap 5.
Interestingly, guys, I've just got the Michelin tyre selection for all the Michelin runners, obviously. Edwards and Rossi have gone for the smaller profile front wheel. You know how they've developed this new wider profile. Everybody else is, and it's an interesting tyre choice. Rossi's gone for medium hard against, whereas Edwards has gone for soft. Roberts also on a hard, and one of the leaders, Hayden, also on a hard rear as a medium soft, using medium front, using the wider profile front tyre.
Excellent tyre choice, could pay big dividends at the end of the race. Casey Stoner still in 4th place, chasing after Marco Melandri in 3rd spot. Those two old rivals, I think it's a bit polite actually, they don't get on at all well. Sete Gibernau and Valentino Rossi absolutely slogging it out at the front. Casey Stoner now coming under more and more pressure from Danny Pedrosa. Confirmation of that fastest lap of the race though. Sete Gibernau 1:50.255.
There's a little gap formed, isn't there, between Gibernau and Stoner. Rossi and Gibernau are pulling away from Melandri and Stoner. There's a little gap gone there. Loris Capirossi's now up as well behind Nicky Hayden, so it's a group of 7 really. But Gibernau and Rossi don't want it to be like that. Earlier on in one of the press conferences earlier on the week, they couldn't have Rossi and Gibernau in the same room. They had to separate them while they did interviews just because they didn't feel comfortable around each other. These two do not get on at all.
No, great rivals, of course, when they were both riding Honda machinery for different teams. Gibernau is a lot closer this time. And did he size him up the time before? On the brakes, thinks about getting up the inside. Rossi leaves it very late indeed. Stoner trying to ride around the outside of Marco Melandri. The two Repsol Hondas snapping at his heels. You just get the feeling Stoner really wants to get past Melandri because he feels, can't say he's holding them up, but he can't get past the time to get through. And Nicky Hayden's got past Pedrosa.
I could see in the background there, Nicky Hayden gets through on Danny Pedrosa. Just slid it through at the end of turn 1 there. Good work from Nicky Hayden up into 5th place, but at the moment it's Rossi and Gibernau. He'll probably see them in the distance getting away, and he'll want to get past Stoner, want to get past Melandri and get himself in this battle. He's been very consistent all weekend, Nicky Hayden. The fastest lap of the race though, and Loris Capirossi down in 7th place. He's got medium tyres on front and rear, so maybe his tyres are coming into their own now. He's set a 150.195. Capirossi making progress.
And I think his teammate Gibernau is just playing a waiting game at the moment, not doing anything too silly. He's got the speed of the Ducati. He doesn't want to show his cards too early, maybe, to Rossi.
Could be the case. Rossi and Gibernau out front. Melandri coming under real pressure from Casey Stoner, Nicky Hayden and Danny Pedrosa. Loris Capirossi, not a second win, but he's made the best of starts. Tyres now coming into play. Now, who do the Italians want to win this race? It is pretty difficult if you're up on the hillside, isn't it? Because they want a Ducati to win the race. They want Rossi to win the race. And really, Rossi on a Ducati would be the perfect combination. Perhaps that will happen one day, but it's one hell of a battle at the front. And I don't think I can speak highly enough at the moment for Sete Gibernau. He really is putting up one hell of a fight after a very difficult time.
It has been tough for him so far this season. Had some disappointing results, not been on the podium so far in 2006. Lots of people were questioning, has he made the right decision? Going to Ducati as Casey Stoner goes through up into third position. Can he make it stick? Yes, he can. Maybe it was Melandri holding up Stoner.
I was just going to say that, Joe, because the gap went out to 1.2 at the end of that lap. And at the start of it, it was 46 of the lap, so Stoner just put the book between his teeth and had to go for it.
How often do you say that Marco Melandri is holding people up to get to the... I don't think I've ever said that before, but I think you're absolutely right. Here is Casey Stoner going past Marco Melandri on the start and finish straight. It's all right going past, as Gavin said. It's this bit now, it's hanging in there when you brake for the right-hander at the end of that straight. Now, can Casey Stoner start to claw back the advantage the two men have got at the front, which is about 1.2 seconds at the moment?
He certainly has there. Nick, it's gone down to 0.969 of a second, so he's taken nearly 3/10 out in the first two splits.
That's the gap, of course, between Jim and El. You just saw the gap, and there goes Stoner. That's a huge high side from Casey Stoner. Stoner is out of the Italian Grand Prix, but he walks away from what is an amazing crash. So he's so lucky to walk away from that one, Nick.
Casey Stoner, okay, that's the most important thing. What an accident. This is at the top end of the circuit, coming out of Arrabbiata 2, fast section, and Casey Stoner is a very lucky 20-year-old to walk away unscathed.
That's the first race he will not finish this season. He's been in the top 5, or top 6, should I say, in every race so far this year. Casey Stoner is not going to finish the Italian Grand Prix, but thank God he walked away from that one. That just means Marco Melandri in third position. Nicky Hayden moves up to fourth. Pedrosa up to fifth, of course, and Loris Capirossi up to sixth. The front two, though, at the end of lap 9, is Valentino Rossi and Sete Gibernau. Gibernau doesn't follow him down in the draft, does he? He just has a look every single time. I think Gibernau, I think you're right, Mark. He's biding his time, just watching Rossi and not doing any rash manoeuvres. And there's Hayden. Hayden's got past Melandri, but it's going to be very brief because Melandri holds on to third place. Now as they go through up the S's, and Hayden's through into third position.
Perfect line there, went round the outside of turn 1, like you said, a brave move, but had the perfect line going into the left hand at turn 2.
Absolutely right. Sometimes you can go in first, come out second of that bend, but you've lined up the second part easily. And Loris Capirossi now is slowly but surely and quietly making his way through. Loris Capirossi on the second of those Ducatis. He started from the front row of the grid, and he is on the charge because he's right up behind those two Repsol. Sorry, he's up behind the Nicky Hayden and Marco Melandri, and has got past Danny Pedrosa.
Yeah, it was a nice move from Loris Capirossi through those S's as well. Real favourite. This is why it's such a great circuit. Here we can see the tyre choices that Mark was talking us through. Rossi slick, soft on the front, and a medium on the rear. Gibernau medium slicks, of course. Really is a battle. The gap now between Gibernau and Nicky Hayden in third position, about 1.2 seconds, maybe 1.3 seconds at the moment.
13 and a half laps to go. This is the battle for third place. Nicky Hayden third, Marco Melandri fourth, Loris Capirossi 5, and Danny Pedrosa just hanging in there at the back of that group in fifth place. Hoffman has crashed out of the race. We hear Alex Hoffman has crashed out of the race, but the rider is okay.
Look at Nicky Hayden and Marco Melandri's tyre choices though. Hard rear for the both of them. Are their tyres going to come good later in the race? Is that why we're seeing at the moment Valentino Rossi and Sete Gibernau gapping them? Maybe later on with the 13 laps remaining, we're going to see them come through the order.
And a very sombre moment in the Stoner garage at the moment, as you'd expect. Everything's been packed away and waiting to see if Casey actually turns up here or goes back to his motorhome.
Whoa, Loris Capirossi got him the Street Fighter. He took Marco Melandri out then absolutely superbly. He's now closing on Nicky Hayden. I tell you, Loris Capirossi really means business. He caught us by surprise. What he did to Marco Melandri, I really don't know.
Melandri was more bothered at the time with Danny Pedrosa, who made a bit of a manoeuvre, and then it was Loris Capirossi who came through at the end of turn 1, and Capirossi now moves up into fourth, and he's got Nicky Hayden in his sights. Hayden's going to have to watch out because Loris Capirossi is on a charge at the moment.
There is Hayden coming under increasing pressure from Capirossi. They both share second place in the World Championship. And of course, Gavin is right. If either of these win the race, Marco Melandri or Loris Capirossi win the race. Whatever Nicky Hayden does, they will be leading the World Championship. Just have those 5 extra points. So
yeah, Nicky knows he needs to stay in front of both Capirossi and Melandri. I'm sure he's not thinking about that at the moment. He's thinking about Sete Gibernau and Valentino Rossi, who's leading the race at the moment. We're on board with Nicky Hayden, looking back at Loris Capirossi as they go through the S's, coming down to the Bacini corner. Loris Capirossi, there you can see, started from the race from second on the grid. Went down to 8th with a poor start really for Loris Capirossi. We've seen him start so well. Always low odds on him to be first into turn 1, but he's made his way through, now up into 4th position, and he will be thinking about his teammate and his Italian compatriot Valentino Rossi. Is Sete Gibernau once again weaving up and down the straight, side to side, but again Rossi keeps it tight. Sete Gibernau in 2nd place. Capirossi has a look up the inside of Hayden, but it's not to be. Hayden's in 3rd position. In 5th place, it's Marco Melandri behind those two. And in 6th place, Danny Pedrosa.
And Gav, I've just got Livio Sappo with me, the team manager, Ducati. Livio said they're running a very smart race at the moment, just sitting there watching every move of Rossi.
Yeah, but also Loris is doing a great job, so let's see the race. Seems to be for the fans is good, huh?
Oh, it is very good for the fans and very good for you guys with Ducati up there battling it out. And looks like Loris won't be too far off them very soon.
We'll see.
He's not saying too much.
he's not giving you any information, is he, Braxi? Don't blame him, really. I think Sete Gibernau really is sounding out Rossi quite brilliantly at the moment, but as we know, the doctor can just move it up to another level when it really matters. Capirossi now turning his attentions to Nicky Hayden in 3rd place. Is he close enough? Not quite close enough. Danny Pedrosa and Marco Melandri just hanging in there behind them at the moment. Just remind you, Casey Stoner was going so well, crashed out, but he's perfectly okay. Alex Hoffman has also crashed out of the race. He also okay. Behind them, Ricardo 7, Roberts 8, Elias 9, Tamada 10, Hopkins 11, Rapinier 12, Vermeulen 13, Edwards 14, and Carlos Checa in 15th place.
And looking at some of those passing manoeuvres, guys, when you walk the track at the 100-metre mark between them before those S's, you can't actually see the apex of the corner or the entry to the corner. So you really need to be committed to make that move. There's a quick vision of Michael Schumacher with a big grin on his face looking at this excitement.
I'm not surprised he's got a big grin on his face. He's been on one of these Ducatis this morning and been down that straight. He knows what they're doing and he knows what Sete Gibernau's feeling. Maybe not with Valentino Rossi in front of him. He had Brandon Momola in front of him on that 2-seat bike, and just up into 3rd position on one of those Ducatis is Loris Capirossi. Capirossi hangs on to 3rd place, and there's a very dejected Casey Stoner. He seems to say what went wrong. Probably just opened the gas a little bit too early coming out of that corner. Disappointment for him. His first DNF of the season. That's an incredible crash to walk away from.
That was a big accident for Casey Stoner. He gave a thumbs up to the camera, didn't he?
And also at that part of the track too, Gav, it goes from going uphill to that crest. So if it's been wheel spinning coming over that crest when it gets really light, that'd help on the high side as well.
I've forgotten how many laps are left. It's so exciting. I have to have a look at the screen. 10.5 to go. What a race. Loris Capirossi is going to join in the fun very, very soon.
I fancy it's the tyre choice from Capirossi. I fancy that he's done something. He's got something on there. Maybe he's not telling people because later on in this race he really is setting some scorching laps. He's on 150.658 at the moment, 150.671 should I say. And Rossi and Gibernau both in the 50.9, so he's got 0.3 out of them on the last lap, and he's getting ever closer by every single corner. Now we can see the gap between Gibernau and Capirossi was at 0.69. What's it going to be as they come through this time? Just have a look at that timer. There's Rossi leading 0.394, so he's taken another 1/3 of a second out of them. Loris Capirossi is very much in this race, and look who he's brought along for company. Nicky Hayden, Marco Melandri, Danny Pedrosa. As we said, we're getting the race we wanted, aren't we? 6 riders at the front, all battling for honours in the Italian Grand Prix at Mugello. A fantastic occasion for MotoGP.
Up on the start and finish straight through Bacini. Gibernau sort of sniffed a little bit at Rossi, not really had a go at him yet. Perhaps he will do it this time, no. He seems very well placed though on the brakes this time. Perhaps he feels this time that the likes of Capirossi, Hayden, Melandri and Pedrosa have come along, and now he's got to perhaps push Rossi very, very hard at the front, or even get in front of Rossi with his others going to join in.
He probably knows Capirossi's right on his well, but you see the line that Gibernau's taking into that first corner. Very, very tight indeed. It's like he's almost practicing for when he does actually make a move and where he's going to do. Because just see how much tighter he is going into turn 1.
Rossi still leads just, fighting off the two Ducatis of Sete Gibernau and Loris Capirossi. What a race we have here at Mugello. Nicky Hayden not out of it either. Also Danny Pedrosa and Marco Melandri. There we are, that's a race for those tire choices. Well, we wait to see.
It's very interesting that Valentino Rossi's chosen that soft front. A lot of downhill turns, a lot of S's where there's a lot of pushing on the front end. Maybe because the conditions he's gone for that softer tyre, maybe just wants a bit more feel through the S's to be able to push that nose in there.
But also going with the smaller profile too, Gav, he's able to steer it a bit quicker.
We wait to see if he's made the right decision. The two big booming Ducatis are now after the Yamaha at the front. 9.5 laps to go. The sunshine in Tuscany, it really does not get a lot better than this. Rossi leads. Gibernau now coming under pressure from Capirossi. Nicky Hayden, well, he's right with them, to be perfectly honest with you, along with Marco Melandri and Danny Pedrosa.
And talking of being right with Nicky Hayden, I'm right with his team boss Pete Benson. Nicky's riding a very sensible race. He's got the hard long-down rear, and he could have just got the doctor ordered.
Well, the home time is 5 first 6 at the moment. We've got 9 left to go, so anything can happen.
Better not say the doctor ordered anyone.
No, we don't too much to do with him.
Loris Capirossi, just to break in there, sorry Mark, but Loris Capirossi is now leading the race because, well, it was him trying to go on the inside of Gibernau. He pushed Gibernau wide. Look at Valentino Rossi, who's down in 5th place. Rossi, what's happened there at the end of the start-finish straight? Sorry, it's Gibernau leading the race. Capirossi in 2nd place. Hayden is now in 3rd. Marco Melandri in 4th place. Valentino Rossi drops from 1st to 5th. At the end of 14 laps of this race, it's hotted up. 2 Italian bikes lead the race, and Valentino Rossi dropped down to 5th. All the hard work has to be done again by the world champion.
Whatever happened there? Capirossi went up the inside. I thought perhaps he was going to take the lead, and then it all happened, and Rossi suddenly dropped right back, almost like he had a mechanical problem, and then suddenly came back in again.
I just thought he was pushed wide by the Ducatis who were fighting. It was Capirossi came in and he just seemed to push them out wide, both Gibernau and Rossi. And Rossi just seemed to, just lose it in the middle of that corner there. He lost so much time, and now he's down in 5th position, and he's going to have to make a few more manoeuvres if he wants to get through. Is that his front end having problems and it's not sticking so much at the end of the start-finish straight? Who knows? We'll see, I'm sure, in the next 8.5 laps.
Well, I'm sure we're going to see at the Casanova on that very downhill where you drop about 20 metres, in about 20 metres. And the Casanova could prove to be not the man that he wants, especially at this time of the race when he's so far back at the moment. And look now, the Capirossi.
Capirossi makes his move on Sete Gibernau. Absolute perfect timing. Ingrid, his wife, she cannot believe it. Loris Capirossi leads here at Mugello. Gibernau in 2nd place. In 3rd place, Nicky Hayden. 4th place, Marco Melandri. 5th place, Valentino Rossi, who in turn is coming under a little bit of pressure from Danny Pedrosa. Nicky Hayden goes up the inside of Sete Gibernau and takes over 2nd place.
Nicky Hayden at the end of the straight, then on the brakes, takes Sete Gibernau. Gibernau's been a fantastic race, but now he's in 3rd position, out of the top 2 for the first time, and he's going to be out of the top 3 because Marco Melandri has gone past him as well. Melandri up into 3rd. It's Capirossi leading the race. Are the tyres that we said, the hard rear tyres for Marco Melandri and Nicky Hayden, are they coming into their own? Because Hayden looks strong, Melandri looks strong, and Capirossi is under pressure from both of them.
And like I said before, guys, Nicky knows that if he doesn't win this race with either Capirossi in front of him, he's going to lose the world title lead. So that could be another bit of inspiration for him as well.
7.5 laps to go here at Mugello. What a race we have. Tension back in the Yamaha pit. No wonder why. Valentino Rossi, an early leader, sparred with Sete Gibernau, always looked comfortable. But when the gloves came off, perhaps Jean Todt should be out there with that Ferrari contract and he could sign it as he goes past, because this is MotoGP and this is going to be a fight to the checkered flag. Melandri now. Marco Melandri goes upside with Nicky Hayden.
Marco Melandri really is the thorn in Nicky Hayden's side, isn't he? And Marco Melandri's after his compatriot Loris Capirossi. I tell you what, Hayden straight back. This is the Battle Royale we're all expecting. Some Italian journalists this morning were saying Valentino Rossi is going to clear off. Valentino Rossi is going to win this race. He's moved up into 4th position past Sete Gibernau, but Rossi isn't clearing off. We have an absolute incredible race here in Mugello. And there he is, he seems to be way past looks like that's Marco Melandri.
Marco Melandri.
And Nicky Hayden seems to have a little wave to him, saying, go on, go past if you want to. Hayden up into second place, and Gibernau's going to try and get past Rossi at turn 1, is he? No, Rossi, a very tight line from him there. Slides that rear tyre. Rossi in 4th place. So let's just run through it, because it's Capirossi leading, Hayden 2nd, Melandri 3rd, Rossi in 4th place now. Gibernau down in 5th place. He's running a fantastic race, but at the moment he's just letting these front 4 get away. It's Danny Pedrosa who's down in 6th place. Tony Elias as well has run a good race up into 7th, but he's 12 seconds behind Danny Pedrosa and leading that second group of Roberts, Nakano, Tamada and Hopkins.
It does appear that Rossi sort of regained himself, doesn't he? Really got back to fighting to get back towards the front, and his race is not over. Really don't know what happened there. Rossi goes past Marco Melandri. Melandri fights back side by side. Rossi will hold the advantage. Valentino Rossi up to 3rd place. Capirossi and Hayden beware. Rossi chasing his 5th successive win at Mugello. Is back in the hunt.
I suppose you could say that Nicky Hayden's like the pepperoni in an Italian sandwich here, because there's 3 Italians all around him, desperate to win in the home Grand Prix, all for various reasons. Loris Capirossi because he's on the Ducati and wants to take the championship lead. Valentino Rossi because he desperately needs to be there. Marco Melandri to really seal his title credentials because he's already taken 2 victories. This would be his 3rd if he was to win here. Nicky Hayden really is having to put up a battle against the Italians, but he's doing so, isn't he? At the moment, as they go into Bacini, he's going to have to watch Rossi up the inside. Rossi very good on the brakes, but Hayden holds tight. Capirossi runs a little bit wide as they come down at the end of lap 17. It's Loris Capirossi leading the way from Nicky Hayden. Valentino Rossi in 3rd place. And in 4th place, Marco Melandri.
6 to go when they cross the line. Capirossi leads. Rossi trying to size up Nicky Hayden. Can he do it? Let's have a look. Danny Pedrosa's got past Sete Gibernau. Oh, and Nicky Hayden trying to ride around the outside there of Loris Capirossi. Has it opened the gate up for Valentino Rossi? Not quite, but Nicky Hayden really means business in 2nd place.
Just to go back down the order, Gibernau's lost 2 seconds to Pedrosa on that lap. Gibernau is out of this one. I don't think Gibernau will find his way back into this race. He's now dropped 2 seconds. He's 2.7 behind the leader, Loris Capirossi, and that's so unfortunate after a fantastic race from him, but we've still got 5 people in the hunt for the 25 points, starting with Capirossi. Hayden's got Rossi breathing down his neck though, doesn't he? And Rossi's going to try and go through at Savelli. Rossi goes through as they dip down into a Raviata for the double right-hander. Hayden round the outside. As Rossi pushed it too much, can Hayden go up the inside? Rossi closes the door. Valentino Rossi up into 2nd place.
Rossi on the charge. Capirossi and between him and the lead. Here comes Marco Melandri up the inside of Nicky Hayden. Side by side, Hayden doesn't want to let him go through. Well, after Rossi has gone through, and Nicky Hayden slams the door shut in his face.
That was so brave, wasn't it, from Nicky Hayden? He's had Marco Melandri in his face, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold it this time. Melandri's run it wide, definitely, and onto the grass. Marco Melandri's run onto the grass. That could be his chances of the 3rd victory of the season gone for Marco Melandri. He pushed it one too many times. He'd already tried Nicky Hayden up the inside once. He tried again, and it's not going to be. There was Valentino Rossi going up into 2nd position now. And you can see the delight in the Yamaha box. Arms going up, arms going down, all sorts of confusion. Rossi's in 2nd place. Melandri's run off the track.
And there was certainly simulation in the well off the box as well. Go with the left, you run off the
5 to go. Down at the bottom right-hander. Capirossi leads. Rossi 2nd. Hayden 3rd. Pedrosa 4th. It's between these 4. Marco Melandri down in 6th place after running off the track. Let's wait and see.
Just behind this front 6. It's not really a group anymore, we've got a front 4, but look at Kenny Roberts Jr. up into 7th position. A fantastic ride for him on the Team Roberts machine, of course. That V5 Honda engine with the Team Roberts chassis, and that's a great ride from Kenny Roberts, a real shot in the arm for him.
And they told Mark before the race, didn't he, Kenny Roberts, that this was the start of the season for them. That is a truly great ride by Kenny Roberts Jr. What a ride there we have at the front. Capirossi, Rossi, Hayden, and Danny Pedrosa's not out of it either, you know, with 4.5 to go.
Don't count the little Spaniard out, Mark.
Yeah, I don't anybody that rode with Valentino Rossi off and drop back to 5th or that position is going to end up with egg on face disease, I think, very shortly, because he's just stalking Capirossi at the moment.
Still Nicky Hayden sliding that rear tyre through the S's. You can just see there, Rossi trying to gap, should I say, Nicky Hayden. These front two, are they pulling away from Hayden? Is Hayden going to be close enough? Is he going to have enough chances on these last 4 laps to be in there with a shout? The two Italians, look at how hard Loris Capirossi is riding with Ducati through the second set of S's. As they come down for Baccini, Valentino Rossi, a tighter line, but it's going to be Loris Capirossi leading with 4 laps to go.
Just looking at the pit board that the doctor's going to get very shortly from Gary Coleman. It says 0.1 to the leader and 0.4 to Hayden behind with 4 laps to go. So Rossi knows exactly what is going on because Gary told me in the past he looks at the lap board every time he crosses the start-finish line.
We ride with Nicky Hayden. He's up into 6th gear. Is he close enough to Valentino Rossi as they go down into 2nd for the right-hander? No, he's not. Where do you want to be if you're Valentino Rossi coming into Baccini on the last lap? Because you would imagine that the Ducati's got a little bit more extra speed. So it's a very, very difficult choice for Valentino Rossi, exactly where he wants to be. Nicky Hayden has closed right up with them.
He has at the end of the straight. You saw the power from that Honda down the end of the straight. 332 kilometres an hour was the readout from Nicky Hayden's machine. He really did close down on the bikes. Is he going to want to be maybe in 2nd position, just on the tail of whoever's leading? Whatever happens, we're going to have a grandstand finish in the Italian Grand Prix. We've got 2 Italians in 1st and 2nd position. We've got Kentucky's Nicky Hayden, the American, in 3rd position. In 4th place, Danny Pedrosa, slightly out of it at the moment. 0.9 down on Nicky Hayden. He's in 4th place. Sete Gibernau 1 second behind Danny Pedrosa, so he's out of the podium position, I would say. And Loris Capirossi and Valentino Rossi, what's it going to be when you come into the final corner? Where do you want to be? In front, behind? I'm not so sure. We're going to see in 3 laps' time, though.
Hayden's been gapped a little bit by the 2 leaders as well, Kev.
It seems to be just around the top section of the circuit that the Ducati and the Yamaha just seem to have the edge over Nicky Hayden. But from the first section, T1 and T2, the Honda is strong. Maybe Nicky Hayden might want to get in front, see whatever he can do in that first half of the circuit, because it really looks like the Ducati and the Yamaha have it on him in the second half.
Here comes Rossi up the inside on the brakes into Baccini. He's made his move. Now, what does he do here?
That's
a
right.
a little bit wide, and the Ducati of Capirossi goes back in front, and Nicky Hayden just hangs in there. It's a very difficult decision for Valentino Rossi, because that might just be a foretaste of what will happen on the very last lap.
Was that a dress rehearsal? Here comes Nicky Hayden up the inside. He's past Rossi. Is he going to be able to hold on to the brakes? Nicky Hayden, can he do it? No. Rossi closes the door. Very good line there from Valentino Rossi. Just came across the front of Nicky Hayden. Said, no, you're not coming through. Loris Capirossi went a little bit wide on exit. He's got tyre problems there as Loris Capirossi, because coming out on the exit, he had problems. Valentino Rossi's going to try and take that as an invitation to go through into the lead, but Capirossi closes the door. We've got a battle on our hands. Nicky Hayden is having a look, but not this time.
Amazing looking at the grandstand, guys. You see Rossi about to pass and everybody stands up, then they sit down again, then they stand up and sit down. This place is going to erupt very shortly.
I tell you what, this is one of the best rides I've seen by Nicky Hayden in MotoGP. Okay, he won at Laguna Seca. This is in Mugello. This is in front of the Italian crowd. And he is pushing the 2 best Italians in the world to the very, very limit. Hayden's not out of this bike anyway at all. Little bit of a mistake by Capirossi. And Rossi got through once, but Capirossi got him back. And Hayden's right there with him now. Now, this is a crucial part of the course.
For my money, Valentino Rossi looked so much more stable than Loris Capirossi in the corners. Through all those corners, when he's been taking close the door for Nicky Hayden, for example, at the end of the start-finish straight, he looked so tight, looked clean, looked stable. Loris Capirossi, meanwhile, you can see his bike bobbing around. See, he's got problems. He's run it a little bit wide there. Is Rossi going to be able to get through? Not this time. But Loris Capirossi does see, you can see his rear tyre twitching there as they come out of those S's into the final set of S's before they go into Baccini, the final corner on the circuit. Penultimate lap of the race coming up, another dress rehearsal for the final corner.
And Hayden's having a bit of trouble too there, Gav. He's running it a bit wide those last couple of corners.
I think they're all having their own tyre problems now. They're onto the start and finish straight. When they cross the line, there will be 2 laps to go. Up over the start and finish line, over 200 miles an hour, down through the gearbox any moment, down on the brakes. Rossi tries to brake Capirossi in there. Capirossi leaves the braking very, very late indeed on the Ducati, but then runs it wide. Rossi, as he takes the lead. No, he hasn't. Capirossi hangs on. Hayden hanging in there as well. Whoa.
That's happened a couple of times now, isn't it? Capirossi just hooking it up late on in the corner. And this is the battle for 7th position at the moment between Kenny Roberts Jr. and Makoto Tamada, who stormed up through. He loves his circuit, and this is the front. Valentino Rossi goes into the lead in the Italian Grand Prix for the 2nd time. It's not the first time he's led this race. He dropped back to 5th position, remember, and now Valentino Rossi is back in front. The crowd are going wild here at Mugello, and it's not surprising. 2 Italians are leading in the Italian Grand Prix, and at the moment it's Valentino Rossi on the Japanese Yamaha ahead of Loris Capirossi on the Italian Ducati. Let's take a look at that move again.
Up the inside, the left part of the S is at the top end of the circuit. Rossi leads. He's chasing his 5th successive Premier Class win here at Mugello. Capirossi will fight back. Has Nicky Hayden got enough to hang in there with them? 1.5 laps to go. What a race we've got.
Well, it was very interesting then, Nick, that when he went past the pit wall of Gary Coleman and had dropped down to .2, they said he was in front of Hayden. So Rossi's seen that and thought, it's time to go.
Is it time to go? I think it is. I think he's decided he is going to go. Now can Capirossi stay with them? They're coming up towards Puccini, the long left. Here it is. 1 lap's time. This will be for the very last time. Capirossi is close. He is close enough. Will he make a move? Will he wait?
Well, we've seen him run it wide a couple of times on turn 1. On the last couple of laps, he runs it wide and then just seems to hook it up. Seems that throttle, the traction control on that Ducati kicks in perfectly for him. Late on the brakes, Loris Capirossi now. Will he run it wide? Will he open the door for Valentino Rossi? He does run it a little bit wide. Rossi tries to go through. Capirossi can't hook it up. Oh, and his tyre skips all over the shop. Look at Valentino Rossi, how tight his line is as they go through there at the top of the circuit now. Nicky Hayden's not out of it yet. Another trick from Loris Capirossi. These are your front 3, but it's Rossi leading the way. Hayden's going to have a go. No, he isn't. Up Loris Capirossi the inside, and there Valentino Rossi leading. Capirossi in 2nd place. Nicky Hayden in 3rd place, and hats off to Gimenow, who's right in behind Danny Pedrosa, battling for 4th.
Rossi on the charge. I think Loris Capirossi's elbow actually took the rear wheel there of Valentino Rossi's machine. Rossi's head down. Rossi's trying to break them now. Can Valentino Rossi make it 5 in a row? Can Capirossi or Hayden do anything about it? Is the doctor back in business? He is absolutely flying at the front.
He's got the hammer down, hasn't he? And he really is trying to make sure that Puccini, when they're running down the straight, that powerful Ducati just doesn't have a run on him, that it doesn't have any chance to get past him on the start-finish straight. Look at the gap between them now, between Rossi and Capirossi in 2nd place. Nicky Hayden in 3rd place. I say he wouldn't have a chance now unless, no, I'm sure that he's not going to get past. Capirossi really is the only one with any realistic chance of getting in front of Valentino Rossi, but has he broken them on the early parts of the final lap of the race? Has he done it as they go into the final corner for the final time?
And the crowd on the wall here, the Camel boys have all rushed out of the garage to watch him across the line in his dynamic win.
He's done it. The gap is big enough. He's done it. Valentino Rossi has won the Italian Grand Prix here at Mugello. What a victory for the Doctor. What a victory for MotoGP. What a race. Loris Capirossi in 2nd place. Nicky Hayden 3rd. Danny Pedrosa 4th. And Sete Gimenow in 5th place. Mark, you waited a long time to come to Mugello. You're not going to see a lot better than that.
Now I'm standing right amongst the Camel Yamaha guys now, and the emotion, there's tears and everything now. It's been a long way coming for this victory for them. The Japanese, the Italians, everybody. David Brivio, the team manager, nearly fell off the pit wall as he was jumping up and down. Now look at the screen now as Rossi gets off the line to salute the fans. And there's something special coming up this afternoon. He hasn't told anybody about.
It's going to be special. Valentino Rossi has won the race. Let's quickly tell you what else happened. Sete Gimenow 5th, Marco Melandri 6th, Tony Elias 7th, Kenny Roberts Jr. What a ride on his dad's Honda into 8th place. Makoto Tamada 9th, John Hopkins in 10th place, in 11th place Shinya Nakano, in 12th place Colin Edwards after going off the track early on, Randy DePunier 13th, Chris Vermeulen 14th, Carlos Checa in 15th place. We've lost Valentino Rossi in the crowd. He's going to get back on the bike now. I think he wants to try and make his way back to the start and finish. But Valentino Rossi, his 5th successive victory here at Mugello. And surely, as his fist and his face show, the most important, almost probably, of his career.
I just got Jeremy Burgess. Jerry, well done. Is this the tournament? turnaround for him? All this hard work you've been putting in.
I don't know about the turnaround. I mean, we're doing everything we normally do, and we knew we won here before. We knew we had a bike good enough to win, as we did in Le Mans. And so, yeah, we're just going to move on.
Congratulations to get that winning feeling again.
Thanks very much.
Fans coming onto the track, which is probably not such good news to mob Valentino Rossi. He is the man in Italy, and he is still the man in MotoGP after a truly sensational victory here in Mugello. But don't let's forget the other participants: Loris Capirossi, Nicky Hayden, Danny Pedrosa, Sete Gimeno, Marco Melandri, and even in those early stages, the Australian Casey Stoner, who crashed out without injury. Loris Capirossi makes his way back to Parc Ferme. I think it may be quite a long time to wait until Valentino Rossi arrives. Nicky Hayden absolutely gave it his very, very best shot. Wasn't quite good enough. Once again, he finishes on the podium. He's in with the big boys. He's right there with them, and he puts Rossi and Capirossi to the absolute limit. I think what will please him that on the last lap he was still there, hanging in there with them, with a real chance of still winning the race.
That'll go down in the record books as one of the greatest of all time, I think, Nick.
Well, we've seen some great races, haven't we, over the last 4 or 5 years, but that because it was in Italy, and that because it was Valentino Rossi's only second win of the season, I think, as you so rightly say, will go down as one of the truly great MotoGP races, certainly of the last decade, perhaps certainly since Grand Prix racing started way back in 1949, and I'm certain Michael Schumacher, watching the action, would have really enjoyed that.
Well, I thought it was going to be a bit hard to beat Turkey, Nick, but it's going to be a toss-up for the race of the year or the race of my life for that one, actually. It's they just keep getting better and better.
Loris Capirossi back into Parc Ferme after finishing in second place. And of course, that second place will I'm just trying to work out the World Championship positions. He's in place 13. Well, I think that will put him joint leader with Nicky Hayden in the championship, but we'll wait to see that because, as you know, my mathematics are not the best part of my commentating skills. A little bit like my voice today. Valentino Rossi makes his way back to Parc Ferme. I think sensibly didn't hang around too much on the slowing down lap. I think he back. Valentino Rossi back in the winner's circle and back to winning MotoGP races and back in contention, surely, for the World Championship.
Nick, I've got Kenny Roberts Jr. with me. Kenny, first up, congratulations. Even though it wasn't a win, it was almost a win for you the way that bike's improved.
Braking and downshifting, pick up a little bit rear grip, and that should help us out a lot. But I had fun with Tony and Nakano and Tamada, so it's all the guys I saw.
Well, Catalonia's the next chapter.
Yeah, I think we'll do okay. I mean, now when we change stuff on the bike responds in a positive way. Before we changed stuff and nothing would happen, and I would get frustrated, and the team didn't know why. When we changed something, it wouldn't do anything. So we figured that out with the help of Honda and the team, and now we're making positive steps.
All right, well done.
Okay.
Well, Kenny Roberts smiling. He might be a winner, but he's got a smile on him like a winner, and the rest of the team are led by Chuck Axlin and his father, Kenny Roberts. They're all smiling as the backslapping starts down there at the Team Roberts pit.
The 8th place for Kenny Roberts Jr. Great performance by him. Tony Elias in front of him in 7th place. Marco Melandri a rather disappointing 6th after running off the track when he really was involved in the battle for the lead. Sete Gimeno did all the donkey work at the front in 5th place. Danny Pedrosa 4th. But it was the battle at the front between Nicky Hayden, who was eventually 3rd, Loris Capirossi 2nd, and the winner here, Valentino Rossi.
I'm going to interrupt again. I've got Giacomo Agostini, arguably the greatest rider of all time. Giacomo, what a race for the Italian Grand Prix.
It's a fantastic race today, very, very exciting. It's and very hard because everybody want to win, so it's very nice for spectator, for everybody.
I bet you were hoping there was a certain Italian bike that would have crossed the line first.
Yeah, of course, I'm Italian. We have, at the start, we have three Italian can win. And I think Valentino win, because I think today is fast than everybody.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
That was one of the greatest of all time, Giacomo Agostini. As the crowd here surges onto the track, I don't think I'm going to get down to Parc Ferme, Nick. I think I've been swamped.
You have to be careful down there. Both Gavin and myself are past experience at the crowd at Mugello when they come onto the circuit, and they're all assembling in front of the rostrum, and no wonder why. They're celebrating for the 5th successive season a win for their hero, the hero of Italy, Valentino Rossi. He's looking further down the field there. A bit of a disappointment, I'd say, for poor old John Hopkins, who'd been riding so well. John Hopkins eventually finishing in 10th place. And there we go. I was right. Well, I got the maths right. That's unusual. Loris Capirossi and Nicky Hayden share the lead in the World Championship on 99 points apiece. Valentino Rossi has now moved up to 5th place, 34 points behind Marco Melandri 3rd, Danny Pedrosa in 4th place. But joint leaders in the World Championship, Loris Capirossi and Nicky Hayden. That was an incredible Ducati, like a lawn making its way along the start and finish straight. And there's old Gav, he's just been commentating with us now, trying to get Valentino Rossi to get away from the television interviews and get upstairs to get onto the podium. Man of many tasks. What a race. What an afternoon. Sorry about my voice. Just enjoy the action. Early days, Valentino Rossi getting past Sete Gimeno at the front. And then really the battle did commence. And what a ride by Sete Gimeno. He really got into Rossi's face, big style. Rossi just running it a little bit wide, just getting the rear wheel on the dirt. Early stages of the race. Rossi back in front. Marco Melandri also right there in contention. Michael Schumacher really enjoying it. Casey Stoner, big accident for the 20-year-old Australian. He's okay. And then Nicky Hayden starts making a move past Marco Melandri. Rossi leads. Loris Capirossi gets past Nicky Hayden. Capirossi absolutely flying. And then what happened at turn 1? Rossi runs it wide and seems to stop, almost lets them through and finds himself down in 5th place, but not for long. At the front, Capirossi takes the lead. Marco Melandri still also in there. Nicky Hayden chasing hard. Hayden in 2nd place. Melandri absolutely flying, but Rossi now back
Nick, on
the charts.
I'll jump in with you.
Of
I've got Nicky Hayden with me. Nicky, congratulations on your spot. Not what you really wanted, but you're still up there with him.
Yeah, we definitely fought hard today, but the boys were tough, man. They was out for blood, and we didn't get it done, but, you know, the team did make a great job. We really made some changes Friday night that helped a lot, and, you know, I just wish I could have stole one from them, spoiled their little party.
Well, you went close.
Yeah, we're close, but close don't get it, you know, so, you know, hopefully we can do better, but, you know, these guys rode awesome, and I can't take nothing away from them. I just didn't get it done.
Well, you're getting the consistency in qualifying and practice too, which is going to help in the races.
Yeah, we were back strong this weekend, which is important. I mean, we needed to come back and answer the bell after having a bad weekend at Le Mans, and I think I did that somewhat.
All right, all the best.
All around me, all I can hear are the cries of Rossi, Rossi, Rossi. The crowd streaming now onto the start and finish straight here at Mugello. The podium is being prepared, and there will be celebrations like you have never been seen before. Mark, what was that T-shirt you saw when we were driving in today, saying about Rossi's return?
Un saluto e ora siamo pronti per chiamarli sul podio del Mugello MotoGP. Prepariamoci, 2 italiani su 3 per questa festa. Eccoci qui, meno male, vengo io. Signore e signori, arrivano del Mugello, il podio della MotoGP 2006 Gran Premio d'Italia Alice! A controllare il trofeo del terzo classificato il presidente della federazione motociclistica mondiale Alberto Sergi è pronto per cancellare il trofeo del secondo posto il trofeo per la Roma Davide Grazie Valentino. Eccola qua, Valentino Rossi,